Hello. Today in my storytelling playlist, I'm going to discuss encounters with death. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's Halloween, and in Korea there was a tragedy here last year. The Itaewon crowd crush. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's the anniversary of it, and I was going to do a video on it, but I just decided I didn't want to. So instead, I'm going to do some encounters with death that I've had and that have kind of changed me as a person. And the first one happened when I was maybe, I guess I was probably 8 or 9. Maybe 10. I was with a friend, and it was winter time, and we were walking on a lake. In Michigan, there are many lakes, big lakes and small lakes. We were on a smaller lake near his house. And when you go on a frozen lake, typically the ice is very strong in the main part of the lake, but often where the reeds or the weeds and things come up, it can be a little bit weaker. And we were kind of on the edge because, our mothers were saying don't go out too far. And, we've done it many, many, many times. So it wasn't like we were taking any kind of risk or anything, but we were walking on there, and the ice broke, and I fell into the water. And my friend pulled me out. It was very scary because I thought I was going to go underneath the ice, and if I went underneath the ice, I'd probably be dead. But I did not go underneath the ice, and he was able to pull me out of the water. But the problem was, after that happened, we had to walk home, and it was very far. I think it was probably at least a mile or two. I don't know. But it was far. It seemed very far when I was freezing. So by the time I got to his house, all my clothes were like frozen solid pretty much. And, his mom had to wash my clothes and dry them, so I had clothes again, and I had to kind of like warm up in the bathroom, in the bathtub and stuff. So it was very what they'd call a close call, I guess. That was sort of the first moment in my life where I really felt like I had faced that reality. And there have been other ones since then, littler ones, more minor ones, I should say, and other kinds of deaths, like psychological death or something like that, that I've gone through. But the next really big one, I think, was when I lived in Vietnam. If you've ever been to Vietnam, you probably understand what the traffic is like there. Well, I lived there for a year, and I was pretty good at riding a bike. I had a lot of experience before that, so I wasn't like a novice or anything. But one night I was riding home from a dinner, and this motorbike, there was one parked like coming out of a side street, and I was coming this way. There was another one behind it that I didn't actually see, and they didn't see me. And the one behind it gunned really fast to come out, and when they came out, I collided with it. But I ended up flying over the handlebars. And when I was hanging in the air, it lasted like many, many, many minutes. It felt like it. And I did kind of think like, oh my God, am I going to die here? And I wouldn't say my life flashed before my eyes, but many things kind of popped into my head. And it's almost like time slowed down, and I wondered, what was it going to be like when I hit? Was I going to hit my head? Was I, how was I going to land? I eventually landed on my shoulder. I dislocated my shoulder, and I did hit my head, but just minor, and I had a helmet on, so it just kind of scraped the helmet a little bit. But I remember the feeling of hitting the ground, and it was more pain than I ever felt in my life. I mean, I've broken some bones, and that hurts. But this was different because it hurt, but it also knocked the wind out of me, and I was kind of in shock and in a daze. The motorbike driver rode off. The other bike that was there, they stopped and helped me. And so, like, I got up and, they were asking me if I was okay, and I was kind of in a daze, and eventually I was fine. But after that, that I had, I guess, some kind of PTSD or something from that, because I kept having dreams about it. And when I eventually had to get back on the bike after, I think I was out of commission for about a month, eventually, in order to live there, I had to ride again. And not really when I was ready, but I just had to because I had no choice. So I started riding again, and I was just terrified the whole time because I just that feeling kept replaying in my head of hitting the ground. And so I had this really strong fear. And even after that, on Facebook, I'm on a lot of Facebook pages for Vietnam, for expats. And, all the time I'd see these posts about people getting hit by trucks or all this stuff. And it really made me reanalyze my life there. So I eventually left. And I have gone back and rode since then, but just minor amounts. I don't want to use it as like a day-to-day thing because it really shook me. Another event that happened that I think affected me quite seriously was, I don't think I had a heart attack, but I had sort of a heart palpitation where I was hanging out with some friends. We were playing a game, and I got kind of, two of us were getting in kind of an argument, and it started to increase my heart rate, and it kept going. Like it wouldn't stop. It kept increasing. I could feel it like beating really hard. And so I'm trying to calm myself, and like it almost felt like my heart rate went up so high that eventually it was just gonna like snap, like it would just stop. And that was like a huge wake-up call. And before that time, I ate sort of a standard diet. But after that, I had, I would say, a few months of serious appraisal of not just my diet, but my life in general. Kind of looking back on, like sort of assessing if I had died at that time, would I have been okay with that, I guess? And, I don't think I would have been, because there were many things I still want to do, and people I still would like to see again. So I don't know. But after that, I changed my diet. Now I do a sort of animal-based carnivore diet where I eat mostly meat and some fruit and honey. I don't eat any bread anymore. I don't eat any carbs really, other than fruit-based carbs. No rice, no vegetables either. But changing my diet helped it immensely. I feel much better now, and I haven't had anything like that happen since then. But one other thing that kind of made me sort of question my mortality wasn't another thing where I felt like I was in danger necessarily, but I kind of think it had to do with the hysteria around the pandemic. Obviously, I get, anyone in their right mind is going to be afraid of a virus or a disease, right? But it was more like the hysteria around it that made me fearful, I guess. And I really watched people during this time, and I watched how they reacted to it, and I saw how much people are always living in the future, and they're living as if they have forever. And when they get presented with a situation where maybe they don't have forever, they start really panicking and acting irrationally. And I guess it just kind of taught me that I need to live in the moment as much as possible. I need to be present in the moment. I need to enjoy the moment. I need to have gratitude for the moment. I noticed that a lot of people, their worst traits came out during the pandemic. And I don't want to be a person like that. I'd rather be a person that when there are hard times and there's adversity, the good traits come out. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say as I get older if I'm faced again with another situation, which I will be, because it's part of life. It's hard to say how it will affect me, but I think these last few times with the motorbike and the heart thing and the pandemic, I think they've been in the span of a few years, about 4 or 5 years. It's really made me become aware of my mortality more and just trying to enjoy each day as they come. So I just want to say one more thing as far as the tragedy in Itaewon last year. It's just my condolences go out to all the family and friends of those people, and it's a huge tragedy that something like that happened. And I can't really imagine what it must be like to have to think about that a year later. So yeah, anyway, that's all I got for today. Enjoy your Halloween.